Hey everyone, Wideck here again, this time with Game 4 of a Best of 5 series from the recent Dreamhack Winter 2013 tournament. And this time from the losers final, spawning here on Akilon Waifs, we've got in the top left as the red Zerg representing Team Startale, we have Life. And Life will want to bounce back after losing his previous game to his opponent spawning in the bottom right as the blue Protoss, representing Team Azubu. We have Patience. And it looks like we do have a quick probe moving out of Patience's base. Interesting. It looks like he might be intending to block off the entranceway into his natural, so very interesting. So if you missed the previous games, just a quick summary. Patience lost both Game 1 and 2 in a standard game. Standard games that took about 15 to 20 minutes long. Life was just always pushing Patience and not giving Patience a lot of breathing room, and so he succumbed to the Zerg attacks constantly. But in the previous game, Game 3, which was on Frost, Patience had the benefit of scouting out his opponent immediately on that 4-player map, and then opted to do a gateway rush on one base, and Life went for his standard 3 hatchery play, and the Stalkers and Zealots were just eventually able to overwhelm our Zerg opponent. So it'll be interesting to see if Patience is going to do some sort of cheesy play again. Now, it looks like he is getting that Forge down, so maybe he may be looking for a cannon rush, but that Overlord from Life is going to be able to see that probe. And we don't have the hatchery first place from Life this time. We do have the drone scouting around looking for probes or buildings. Looks like the hatchery is going to go down now. So the timing is a little bit different. That probe is able to see the timing of that expansion hatchery. So very interesting. It just looks like Patience is going to be going for a standard expansion play first. We put down the Forge first. There we go. We do have the Nexus down. And at the same time, he's still scouting with that lone probe, very close to Life's natural hatchery. Able to steal 5 minerals. I'm not sure how much that's going to affect the outcome of this game, but every little bit counts, even if it's microscopic. So both players look like they're opting for a longer style game. Now, Life, in all previous 3 games, did not get Zergling speed very quickly. In Game 1 and 2, it didn't affect him because he won those games quite handedly. But in Game 3, when he was being rushed down by Patience, not having that Zergling speed really hurt his Zergling's ability to surround all those Stalkers and other units. So we'll have to see when Zergling speed is going to come up here. We do have the 3rd hatchery put down by Life. Interesting. He chose this position instead of this area. Generally, players like to choose this area because you can blow up the rocks to protect this area. Instead, he's opting for the 3rd base to the south of his main. And with that Nexus up for Patience, he's going to be able to start mining from that natural position. Unfortunately, the Zerglings are just hanging out in front of that front door. So Patience's probe has been immediately spotted and now is going to be chased down. So both players not really doing anything special. Both players opting for a more standard macro game. And I don't know if this is going to fit Patience well. Like I said before, he lost both Game 1 and 2 quite easily, in my opinion. I think Life is just a better macro player. And so Patience was able to win Game 3 because he mixed it up. He surprised Life by being very aggressive just on one base. But this time Patience is not going to do that. He's going to opt to sit back and try to beat Life at his own game. It'd be interesting to see if he can do that because Patience does have the momentum. Able to surprise Life in that previous game. So even though he is down 2-1, he does have the momentum. But we do have a Stargate coming up for Patience. And it has not yet been spotted by our Zerg player. So is this going to be an Oracle attack? Or it'll be interesting to see what Patience is going to be going for. because he doesn't have any gateway units out. He's not really committing to anything. He has he has 1 sentry and 1 zealot. There we go. It is confirmed oracles are going to be on their way very soon. And at the same time, this Zergling is playing Ring Around the Rosie, not allowing Patience to put down a pylon or a Nexus. And it looks like this Zealot and Probe might be sacrificed. That's very... The rocks were destroyed, and that Zealot was extremely delayed before he died. So that is interesting. It looked like he was just in between the rocks and things. So he has been able to cut off some of the Zerglings off, but he did lose that Zealot. So very unfortunate for that Zealot. Resources lost do reflect that lost Zealot. We finally do have Zergling speed on the way. We also have +1 weapons and a robotics facility for Patience on the way. And we do have that Oracle very close to Life's base. Now we do have the Queen in position. So we'll have to see how many kills this Oracle is able to get. The Queen is already immediately firing on it, as well as that Spore Crawler. Looks like only 1 drone going down, and that Oracle, it looks like 2 drones went down, so that Oracle is going to have to scoot away for the time being. So not very effective. At the same time, the third base of Patience has been immediately detected. 4 Zerglings working on the pylons. The Sentry and Mothership Core have been called to deal with this threat. The Zerglings will go down eventually. But just like Life, both players opting for the third base without the rocks. So very interesting choices by both players, thinking the same thing, it seems like. But we do have the Roach worn out, and it looks like we do have 2 Roaches on the production queue. And at the same time, we do have a few Void Rays and a Warp Prism out, so this is interesting. We're seeing a lot of different units, but is it going to work for Patience as Life is moving across the map? That Oracle was able to detect those moving forces across the map, but is it going to be enough time for Patience to do anything? He only has 2 sentries here, 1 sentry now, and this lone sentry does not have any juice for any more force fields. The Void Ray is going to be able to do a lot of damage to these Roaches, but it's just 1 Void Ray. And if you take a look at supply, we do have a 30 supply difference in favor of our Zerg player. So even though the Zerg units cannot hit the Void Ray, the Zerglings have been able to spill into the natural. There's only 1 cannon. That goes down immediately. A second cannon is forming, but it's not finished yet. And now the Zerglings and Roaches are going to be forcing their way up the ramp into the main. The third base is under attack as well, so we have action everywhere in all of Patience's bases. This is very unfortunate for Patience. It looks like his Nexuses will not be able to do very much here. The probes have been pulled off the line from the main. They are mining from the natural, but the Roaches are still in the third and at the main. We do have the Oracle trying to do some damage to these Zerglings and the Roaches. That Nexus should go down. We do have 5 Roaches left at the main. The 2 Void Rays have been called in to deal with this threat. The Roaches should be destroyed. There we go. And all we have left, it looks like, is 1 lone Roach the Oracle is working on, and he is running out of energy. Able to finally dispense with that last Roach, but now we have more Hydralisks on the way. Resources lost still show Patience ahead in that department, but he did lose a lot of mining time. He did lose a lot of probes as well. So it's very unfortunate for Patience. He got that third base just up and running, and at the same time, he was just attacked immediately. And this composition of units for Patience is not very good for the incoming units from Life. We have Void Rays and Immortals, and they do not do extra damage to Hydralisks. So this is going to be a very sticky situation, I think, for Patience. We have even more Zerglings on the way, as well as Glial Reconstitution and Muscular Augments to make those Hydralisks even better. And if you look at that minimap, that's a steady line of red. I think Patience is going to have a lot of trouble here. We do have 1 lone Colossi, but it's immediately being focused on. The Time Warp does go down, as well as the Force Field. Able to cut off some of those units. Good placement by Patience. Hydralisks are working on that Forge as well as that Colossi, but the Colossi is going to be able to survive. But will this Forge survive? I don't think so. It does go down. The Nexus Cannon is placed as well. Only able to get a couple shots, not able to kill anything. And it looks like these gateways left out in no man's land at the former third bases are also under attack. So Patience is really hanging in there. Resources lost is evening out quite a bit. But now, Patience is actually supply blocked, and he's constantly under attack. More Zerglings and Hydralisks are en route. And it looks like these 3 gateways will be forfeited. Excuse me, warp gates. They will be forfeited. And I think it's just a unit composition problem for Patience, because Immortals and Void Rays are not very good against Zerglings or Hydralisks, and that's basically the only thing that Life is building. Now, he is going to be spicing things up. Looks like 12 Roaches are going to be on the way. And it's interesting that Patience wants to blow up these rocks. He's going to be opting to put a Nexus here. It's not going to be really fortified because the rocks have been blown up here. And it looks like Life is just moving back and forth between these 2 entranceways. Patience can't seem to relax for any moment. Now, he is getting Blink and +1 armor upgrades, but Life is patrolling back and forth. Now, once again, it looks like Patience is going to have the upgrade advantage. He does have +1 weapons, while our Zerg player doesn't have any currently. He is getting +1 missiles, and he's also getting Vipers, so these Colossi are going to have some problems because they're going to get pulled in and get eaten up very quickly. But it looks like Life is going to back off, at least for the time being. There's still this pesky Oracle. Actually getting 21 kills. That's a really, really good Oracle. But even with 21 kills, look at the supply difference. 75 supply difference. And it looks like that Oracle finally is going to meet its maker. So even though that Oracle had 21 kills, look at the supply difference. 80 supply difference. This is basically Life's game to lose. You know, barring some sort of cataclysmic event, I don't think Life is going to lose this game. He just has so much more supply than his Protoss opponent. And he's had that 3rd base up and running for a long time. Patience has not been able to stabilize to get that 3rd base up. And it looks like Life is going to be getting his 4th as well. And it looks like the Zerglings are going to be stampeding into that main base. Able to poke away at that Nexus. Interesting choice. Not focusing down on those units. The Mothership Core is in the fray. I'm not sure why it was pulled directly into those units, eaten up for free by those Hydralisks. It looks like those Vipers are there. Feedbacks do go down. Good feedbacks by Patience, saving those Colossi from getting pulled in. 2 of them will get pulled in. 1 of them will get destroyed very easily. So will the second one. We still have 2 Colossi in the back doing significant splash damage to these Hydralisks. And this ramp location is really cordoning off all these Zerg units for Patience to shoot at in conjunction with those force fields. Really good placement for the Protoss army. But if you take a look at that army supply and just the supplies in general, Patience is still far behind. So even though Life doesn't have to be, even if Life is not very efficient with his units, he's still ahead by a lot. He's doubling the supply of his Protoss opponent now. The 4th base has been completed. The drones have been pulled off other bases, and instructors are going up as well. So Patience is going to have some difficulty here. He's trying to stabilize. He's still down by 95 supply. Our Zerg player is actually maxed out with a whole bunch of Zerglings and Roaches with +1 attacks. Patience still has the upgrade advantage, but I don't think it's going to be very significant if you're being outnumbered 2-1. Might be able to pick off a few units here, but Patience is going to have to retreat. The force fields are put down. The Viper has been able to pull in the last Colossus, and Patience is going to tap out. So Life, very, very, very effective in games 1, 2, and 4, just playing that standard macro game, and Patience just not having an answer for it. Like I said before, in game 3, he was able to mix it up, go for that 1 base gateway rush, and Life wasn't expecting it. He went for a standard 3 hatchery play, and was just whittled down a short 8 or 9 minute game. And in this game, I really thought Patience's best play, because it was Akilon Waste. It wasn't a 4-player map. This is a 2-player map, and I really thought that Patience's best play was once again to do some sort of proxy. Do some sort of rush. Cannon rush, or to gateway something. To do some sort of all-in attack. Maybe Blink Stalkers. I thought it would have been very effective on this map. Simply because Life is just a better macro player. And that's why he's won so many championships, and Patience hasn't won any as far as I'm aware of. Obviously, Patience is a very good player. He was able to defeat Innovation. But he was able to defeat Innovation in Game 2 by doing a gateway rush. So, very interesting choice by Patience not to do anything different, opting for a standard game, thinking he might be able to defeat Life. But Life showed why he is such a good player. And it looks like even though Life was down, was defeated 2-0 by Tasia in the winners final, it looks like that's not going to matter. He will be going back to the grand final for a rematch with Tasia in a best of 7. So let's go and find out what's going to happen in game 1 between him and Tasia.